Watching news at Prime. Let's get into this now. The government's plans to roll out the new HIV prevention jab from next year has widely been welcomed. The drug, which is called lenacapavir, is taken twice a year and is expected to drastically reduce new infections. For more on this groundbreaking breakthrough, we are joined now by the Health Minister, Dr Aaron Motsoaledi. Minister, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to quote directly from what you have said about this new rollout coming next year, and you say you believe this could be a turning point for the fight against HIV and AIDS. Why are you so optimistic about this new drug?
Good evening, Toli. Good evening to the viewers and listeners out there. Definitely, it is a game changer. Everybody who's well versed with the drug, starting even 2 weeks ago when we were at UNGA, United Nations, everybody was talking about it in similar terms. It's a game changer. This is because in the trials, in the clinical trials for young women, it was found that it's 100% effective, meaning any young woman who takes those 2 injections per year is guaranteed 100% that they will never be infected with HIV virus. Among men having sex with men, it is 96% effective. So that's why we believe it's a game changer.
Yeah, and those that are already living with the virus, tell us the benefits of this drug if they do take it.
It is not for treatment only. The treatment for HIV/AIDS will still stay. You know that we have got a single dose combination, which we introduced in 2012, where they take only 1 pill, which is a combination of 3 antiretrovirals. This one is prevention. In other words, it's PrEP. Remember that we do have PrEP, but it's oral. And many people forget to take it and all that. The difference is that this one is an injection and is very, very effective. And if you take it only once a year, meaning if you have to go to a clinic, you just go, twice every 6 months. Once every 6 months or twice a year.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage about it. But those people who are already infected will be on treatment, will be on the present treatment. This one is targeting people at risk who are still HIV negative.
Yeah.
And we are going to target pregnant and lactating mothers, sex workers, men having sex with men, and even adolescent young girls who seem to be innocent, but who one day might, meet a situation where they get infected.
Yeah.
If you give them this injection, you know they are protected.
The manufacturer of this drug is in the United States or based in the United States, but as South Africa, there are efforts, perhaps I should put it, there are efforts to try and explore local production. Is that something that could be done here, or is that still too far away?
It's not far away. We're still fighting for it, Goli. What happened is the original manufacturer is in the US. It's a pharmaceutical company called Gilead. Remember that in terms of the rules of WTO, World Trade Organization, when you invent something and you are a patent holder, you are protected for 20 years. That during that 20 years, nobody can invade your patent without your permission, meaning that before generics could be manufactured, we need to wait for 20 years. Now, fortunately, Gilead has issued what is called voluntary licenses. And those voluntary licenses have been issued to 6 pharmaceutical companies. One of them is Dr. Reddy's, who will start manufacturing and produce and give us the first product in 2027. So the 6 companies that have been given voluntary licenses, unfortunately, here on the African continent, is only one company, which is in Egypt. It's not in South Africa. Yeah. So we are still negotiating with Gilead to give a local South African company a voluntary license so that they start producing generics. And so because we are going to argue about the fact that we are the biggest consumers of ARVs anyway. And you are aware that South Africa has got the biggest load of HIV/AIDS infections.
Yeah. Let's talk about the rollout plan then, Minister. Yes, it is 2026, next year, but do you have the exact dates, and what is the process or the campaign to encourage those that are not infected with HIV to actually go out there and get this jab?
We wish to start either in March or April next year. Only we are going to go on a massive advertising campaign, education and mobilization. It has got to be massive for people not to get confused. We can't start now because the first delivery will only come in December, and secondly, SAPRA still need to register it. It will be unethical, maybe even bordering on illegality, to start advertising a drug that has not even been registered by SAPRA. But SAPRA was at the round table yesterday where we called all stakeholders. They promised that they are working around the clock before the end of this year. They believe they will have registered it. And they said that is possible because when Europe was doing studies to register it, SAPRA sent its scientists there to work with them. So it's not that they are going to start from the beginning. Immediately, SAPRA gives us a registration and the first doses arrive in the country. Then we start advertising.
Yeah. So you said at the beginning that you take this drug once every 6 months, which means it's basically twice a year. Can you afford to not take it thereafter? And I suppose increasing your chances, you have to take it after every 6 months. Is that the rule?
Yeah, that's how it works, unfortunately. If you take it for 6 months, you are protected. If you stop, you are no longer protected.
And you say the goal is to reduce HIV infections by below 0.1% by the year 2032. Do you believe that that goal is now really achievable given this new jab?
Absolutely. It depends on us South Africans, the government, community, business, labor, scientists, researchers, youth groups. The matter is in our hands, whether we want to bring an end to HIV and AIDS. It is said that if we can be able to target between 2 and 4 million people who get this jab, we will arrive at that eventuality. And that's why I'm saying the matter is in our hands. That's why I'm preaching, Koli, that South Africans must not accept the idea that HIV/AIDS is here. We're going to live with it forever. We must start dreaming about doing away with it, eliminating it as a public health threat. And that's exactly our aim, that we, in our lifetime, within a very short space of time, maybe within that period of 8 years, it's less than 10 years actually, maybe within that period you are mentioning of 7 years, etc., we must be able to stand up and say HIV and AIDS is no longer a public health threat. That is past history.
8 million people in this country are living with this virus right now. What are some of the worrying trends, particularly in trying to prevent others from being infected?
Well, the worrying trends is that in 2023 only more than 140,000 people got infected. So the infection is still raging like fire. It's not like before, of course. It's not like 15 years ago, before we tamed HIV/AIDS. We have somehow tamed it, but it's still worrying. The rate of infection is still very high. Because part of remember that at the moment we are using the 95-95-95 formula, whereby 95% of people who are infected must know their status. 95% of those who have tested positive must be on ARVs, and 95% of those who are on ARVs must be virally suppressed. At the present moment, we are at 96, 79, 94, meaning at least 96% of people have tested this, they know their status, but only 79% are on ARVs, And out of those 79% on ARVs, the rate of viral suppression is 94%. So we are short of 1.1 million people. And you will remember that we launched this campaign in February, on the 25th of February, to look for 1.1 million people who are known to be HIV positive, but are not on ARVs, and we've decided to put them on ARVs. So the weakness we are having is that people move in and out. They move in and out of treatment for various factors, maybe pill fatigue, or their life circumstances doesn't allow them to go to the clinic every month or 3 months or whatever. That's why the injection will be very convenient for many people.
Yeah.
The prevention injection, not the treatment injection, but prevention injection.
Yeah. As a final question, Minister, we are still on the same subject, but slightly differently. The bus accident that occurred in Makhado this week, something very crucial was found there, and we are told that there were tons. Well, I suppose it is a bit exaggerated, but it was certainly a lot of ARVs that were found on that bus. And the understanding is that it was headed either to Zimbabwe, and there were also Malawian nationals. Is that allowed, to take drugs from one country to the next without any checks?
No, that was clearly illegal. That was very, very illegal, and we're expecting that the Border Management Authority will catch them at the borders. We were very disappointed, truly. We are aware that people from our neighboring countries do come and collect ARVs in South Africa. And if they were collecting monthly portions, it would have been much better. But the fact that they are holding them in numbers and bringing a shortage in South Africa is very, very disappointing. This matter was discussed in cabinet today, and the minister in the presidency, Minister Ntshavheni, will be addressing the nation about it tomorrow.
She'll be addressing the nation about it tomorrow. With what particular message for our neighboring countries?
Well, Toli, let me leave it to her. She's going to give you the impression of the cabinet and what the cabinet thinks about this matter. Yeah. Now, I don't want to steal her thunder. I just want to inform you that we are taking the matter seriously. The cabinet discussed it and took a decision, and Minister Ntshavheni will be talking to the nation about it.
Minister, I do thank you very much for your time and always being gracious with the little bits of extra information that we throw at you at times. Very, very important statement, particularly on the latter part of that conversation. The ARV drugs that were found on that bus, and the minister saying that that was quite disappointing and it is not allowed by law.